I'm a British Muslim journalist, so I worked for the BBC for 5 years, and now working for Analyst News, a non-profit international news organisation, and just trying to champion justice and peace through its reporting. And a lot of the work that we do is about tackling misinformation and providing a counter narrative to negative and dangerous, harmful narratives that we see prevalent in today. And yes, I was part of UN AOC Eden Project, which brought together young media makers, young faith leaders to learn from one another. And as part of that, I had the opportunity to create a podcast where we spoke to reformed extremists, and we brought them on a platform to hear about their stories, how they were radicalized, what their process of de-radicalization was like, and heard from a number of people. Some were radicalized through online gaming sites, some were radicalized by harmful media rhetoric, and also others, for example, were radicalized by hearing stories of historic injustice and persecution against their own people. And the factors which led to their de-radicalization was very common between everyone we spoke to. What we found was that if they had a good moral framework from their upbringing and from childhood, even if they were exposed to radical ideologies later on in life, those good values came back in later life, and it reminded them of who they really should be, and the good morals, values that they were taught. So that's number one, that early intervention and making sure that people are growing up with good morals and values. The second thing was traveling. Everyone we spoke to said that when they traveled and they met people from other nations, other countries, that opened up their mind, that broadened their horizons, that broadened their minds, and that helped in reshaping the way they see the world. And the other thing was when they met people who they had animosity towards, right? We've seen time and time again, when you bring people together and you live with them and you speak to them, that humanizes them, and then that removes the animosity that you might have towards them. And the other example I'll give about tackling harmful narratives and de-radicalization is I belong to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association, which is a religious youth group, and the group doesn't have any cases of radicalization. And the reason for that is a couple of reasons, which is one, that there are role models at every level, so at the local level, at the regional level, and at the national level, and thus many different countries, and they serve as mentors and guides, and so there's someone to always look up to and go to for advice. That's one thing. The second thing, there's always very clear messaging and guidance, and they're taught that your love for your country and love for your faith go hand in hand, and there's no opposition to it, and love of your faith and love for your country, love of your country is part and parcel of your faith. So this messaging is very important. And the final thing that contributes to raising the generation of people who are who can contribute to society is that from a very young age they're involved in volunteering, they're engaged in community service, they're engaged in giving back to the community, whether that's homeless feeding, whether that's litter picking activities, or whether that's flood relief efforts. Because if you are building a country, if you're spending your time and your effort and your blood, sweat and tears in contributing and making your country better, then you're not going to want to destroy it later on. So these are some of experiences that I've had, and some methods to tackle hatred and extremism with radicalization.
Thank you, Atu, for this wonderful work. Thank you.